Hey guys, I hope you guys are safe at home in quarantine, but don't forget to subscribe here at Fino Boxing and follow my personal one at Adriana_sports. And guess what? We're gonna knock out this coronavirus. Bop, bop, bop. Hey guys, Adriana Jimenez joined here with world-renowned trainer Joel Diaz. Joel, it's good to see you. See you traveling the world, everywhere now. For at least for these next couple days, you're here in Dallas. You have a good fight with your fighter Marcelino Lopez. Looking forward to seeing that one. I know he comes in with a great record of 36-1. I know he's getting closer and closer to a title shot. How do you assess his career right now?
Well, Marcelino's career has been stalled for a bit, due to some promotional and management issues. But, we're just glad and we're happy that he's back. And the opportunity of fighting on this card is going to open a lot of doors. Marcelino stays in shape. So, good thing that, I don't wish anybody any bad, but due to the fact that Pablo Cesar Cano and Jonathan Navarro are not fighting, we got the opportunity to be in his card. And Marcelino is back, and hopefully now he maintains a constant activity so that he can soon, get a world title fight, because his mentality is to become a world champion. Argentina has right now they have Castaño, world champion, and he says, "Hey, I want the title too." So in the 140-pound division, he wants to hit that division and become a world champion and bring back the title home.
Absolutely. And we know right now the titles at 140 are kind of locked in with Ramirez and Taylor. Obviously, if he wouldn't be able to get the winner between that fight, do you think maybe he can get like an interim title or a regular title like the one that Mario Barrio has?
Well, that's the plan. The plan right now with Golden Boy Promotions is to keep him active, give him this fight, and depending on the outcome, see what's next for him. Maybe get him a title elimination fight next. And then looking forward, maybe the winner of Ramirez and Taylor. And that's the purpose. Recently, I just spoke to Golden Boy, and that's what they want. They want to bring him back, and they want to move him fast after this one. And hopefully the outcome is good tomorrow night, and keep moving forward.
In that fight between Ramirez and Taylor, who do you think will win? Who could be your possible opponent?
You know what? It's a great matchup, honestly. They're both good fighters. They've showed a lot in their last fights. To me, it's a 50-50 fight, honestly. If I have to lean a little bit towards somebody, I lean a little more towards Ramirez, his style. But to me, it's a 50-50 fight. I think they're going to give the fans a great fight, a great show that night.
And Coach, obviously, I saw you a couple weeks ago in Miami. Things didn't go your way, obviously. Have you had any communication with AVNI since?
No. After the fight, in the dressing room, he was too quiet. He didn't say a word. We went to the hotel. He didn't say a word. I spoke to his manager, and he was so dethroned, so demoralized that I told him, you know what, let him digest it. Right now, obviously, he feels embarrassed, humiliated because of what happened. So keep him in Miami for a couple of days, maybe, And he was in Miami for a couple of days. He was so ashamed that he didn't even want to go back to his country. And he was in Miami for a couple of days, finally decided to go home. So he's home, but, some of the messages that I sent him, he hasn't replied. And he hasn't replied only to me. Some of his people, close people, are calling me, Coach, is AVNI okay? We've been texting him, and he doesn't reply. His girlfriend in Germany also texts me and says, Coach, is he okay? I said, well, he hasn't replied to me either, so I really don't know. But all I can tell you is this: based on my experience, he feels embarrassed, and that event was too big for him, and the magnitude of the event, he wasn't ready for it. He could have probably been physically prepared for it, but not mentally. And a lot of fighters are like that. They prepare themselves 100% physically. They train really hard, but it gets to the point where you come to the arena and it's just too big for you.
And I know that, unfortunately, you were also getting death threats. Like, I know we love boxing, but it shouldn't get to that point.
Is this a lot of people don't understand, and you cannot fight the world. You cannot fight every single fan. There's a lot of fans. Turkish fans are hardcore boxing fans, especially when they have one champion. They have one fighter, and they want them to become a champion. And it's a team thing, and as a team, If one goes down, we all go down. But all I can say is my message to the people is I do my job. You know, I've always worked. When I decided to become a trainer, I said I'm gonna be a trainer 100%. And a lot of people know my resume with all my fighters. When I train, I train. I don't I don't take things light because my fighters are my presentation. If they do good, I do good. Even if they lose, as long as they represent me with my work, it's like, oh, he trained hard, he fought hard, he lost, but hey, at least he fought. He gave the people what they want to see. AVNI that night didn't represent me, and whatever it is, he has his own issues. I understand. I don't know what his issues were that night. I went to Turkey. I trained him, put in the work, morning, noon. I mean, we did the work. If he didn't do it, I mean, I couldn't force him to do it. But I did my job. I trained him, put in my time, and that's it. The thing is, with the threats are this. Every interview I did, I said what I felt I wanted to say. I said, AVNI is no longer the robot, one-dimensional fighter that was early when he fought Durrell and Eubank. I changed him. I did change him. I saw him in sparring sessions in the gym. He was a different fighter. He enjoyed moving, countering, and stuff. And some of the threats that I get from the Turkish fans are like, you humiliated our country. You know, you're a dead man. I mean, there's even threats due to the fact that I'm Mexican and Canelo's Mexican, that Canelo paid me to put their fighter in that situation. I mean, I don't do that. You know, I mean, boxing is a good sport, and I would never, don't put Canelo in that position. Canelo would never put anybody in that position where I'm gonna offer you money to. That's not happening. But everybody sees things different, and I know they're hurt because their fighter got beat by a Canelo. So they're like, how much money did Canelo pay you for you to put our fighter in that situation, humiliate him? And then some people are like, you said you were gonna make him better, you made him worse. And I get messages. So I can't fight every fan. So I just gotta just move on and live with it. I mean, obviously it's a little concerning, but all I can tell everybody is we did the job. We trained. We did the road work in the morning. We did the training, the sparring, the technical work, the plan of attack. I mean, if he didn't do it, that was not my fault. We put in the work.
That's tough to hear, Coach. Hopefully things ease up, and we know you put in the work. We know your track record. Coach, we saw this morning that they finally announced that the Canelo Billy Joe Saunders fight is going to be here in Dallas. I wanted to get your thoughts on, now that it's official, what you think about that matchup.
I think it's a great fight. It's a fight that a lot of people has been asking for because they still have doubts on Canelo. They still think Canelo is not the fighter that people that they have created. But you guys gotta give Canelo credit. Canelo's been doing his job. If they put an opponent in front of him, he executes him. He's doing his job. And Billy Joe Saunders, I really haven't seen much of him. I've seen a little bit, but you guys are gonna see a Canelo in there. Explosive. He's a smart fighter. Canelo has improved so much. His reflex, his power, his confidence. He controls the ring. And just because Billy Joe Saunders is a great mover, that doesn't mean he's gonna be Canelo. I mean, there's a lot of movers. I mean, there's Canelo's fought every style out there. And I just think it's going to be a great fight for the fans. And it's going to be the fight that is going to define Canelo's career as far as doubters. People that doubt him and they still don't believe he is the champion that he is now, that he's worthy of that position. Canelo is. He's put in his work. And I think that, to me, Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant they're very complicated fighters, but Canelo prepares himself for those styles, and he'll be victorious tonight.
Obviously, his goal for this year is to become the undisputed. If he's victorious with Billy Joe, then he just needs Caleb Plant probably in September. Do you think he can accomplish that this year, become undisputed at 168?
Definitely. I think Canelo will be the champion this year, and he will reach his goals because he's very determined. Canelo's very determined. Once you're in that ring with him and you see his work ethic, you see his power, his boxing ability. I mean, he's at another level, and obviously Saunders is at another level. But when they clash, styles make fights, and Canelo's made for them.
There's a lot of buzz online that fight fans some fight fans don't care about the belts and they want to see him fight like Benavidez. They say that's a better matchup. What do you make of a matchup against Canelo versus Benavidez?
Canelo versus Benavidez is the mega fight because, like I said, styles make fights, and Benavidez is a big boy with a lot of confidence. I saw him last weekend against this kid Ellis. Yeah, I mean, Ellis is a good fighter, great fighter, and Benavidez broke him down slowly, from the beginning until to the end. And Benavidez has a lot of potential, and the names of both fighters create a mega fight, and that's, to me, honestly, in that division, that's the only fight that will catch my attention. Canelo and Benavidez. Benavidez is the biggest threat in that division for Canelo. I don't see anybody else being that big of a threat but Benavidez.
50-50 fight?
To me, it's a 50-50 fight because Benavidez is in his prime. He's young, and he has a lot of potential. He can ruin Canelo's night. He's the only one in that division that has the possibility to ruin Canelo's night. His reach, his height, his boxing IQ. Even though Canelo has power, I just think that the difference in the fight is Canelo's power.
Well, we'll see. Obviously, he has his plans for this year. We'll see if we can expect that one for at least next year.
They're married. Oh, they're marinating that fight. I mean, that fight is being marinated slowly because that's the fight is going to play out to be a mega fight in the future.
Coach, I know you're going to be traveling to Uzbekistan soon. We know that your fighter AJ Akhmadaliev is going to be making his first title defense, and you're also going to have Madribov and Shakram. Talk to me about this event. Have you been to Uzbekistan before?
No, I've been to Yekaterinburg. I've been out there on that side, but never been to Uzbekistan. I've trained these fighters for almost 3 years, and they've always been wanting me to go visit. Haven't had the chance. Now I'm gonna go because they're fighting in their hometown. Unfortunately, we're still on a COVID bubble, so we can't really explore Uzbekistan. But yeah, I'm gonna have basically the whole card is ours. We have from Akhmadaliev, Madrimov, Giasov, we have El Nur, Sanjar, Bahadir Jalolov, Hassan Boy, El Nur. Basically, the whole card is ours. But the only ones that are training here right now is just the champ, Madaliev, Israel, and Shakram. The other fighters are training back in Uzbekistan, but we'll be out there with them too. But every single one of the fighters on the card is ours.
That's crazy. They should just name it the Joel Diaz card.
I told Antonio, hey, for this card, I'm gonna be in the corner from the beginning to the end. Just go bring him out. I'll wait for you in the corner.
You have to wait there. You don't even go back inside. What do you want to see from your fighters that night? I mean, obviously, there's going to be a huge spotlight on them with just being in their home country. What do you want them to show that night?
You know what? It's harder for me as a trainer to have a fighter fight in their hometown because there's more pressure. There's a big load on their backs, and the pressure is they gotta look good and please their home fans. But for that, we have to come in and control them and basically talk to them and tell them, hey, you know what, you have to sort of ignore a lot of things around you, even though it's difficult because families, friends, close friends are gonna be there. It's a lot of pressure because they want to look good, and sometimes they get into trouble for fighting at home. But we have everything under control. God willing, everything goes well. Akhmadaliev has a very tough fight against the mandatory, and looking forward to a great card. I see my fighters are always in top shape. Right now, Israel is in great shape, getting ready. Giasov, he's tip-top shape. I told him yesterday this is the best I've seen him. Akhmadaliev, I mean, a lot of sparring, trying to find southpaws for him. It's been a mission, but we've got some really good sparring for this camp, and he's ready to go. We're going to slow them down a little bit because they're ready to go. I think a little too much would not benefit us. It will affect us. So, but we're ready. We'll be ready.
And speaking of hometown pressure, we're going to see a main event tomorrow night with two Dallas men in Virgil Ortiz and Maurice Hooker. Obviously, you know Virgil Ortiz very well. What are you expecting to see from this fight? Who do you see winning?
Well, Maurice Hooker, former world champion, has the experience, but Virgil Ortiz has the youth, the power, the IQ, And obviously, Hooker comes from a loss, so he cannot afford another one. That's what makes a fight interesting. That in order for Hooker to still be in the sport, he needs to win a fight like this. And Virgil, obviously, to keep moving forward to the bigger leagues, he needs to execute Hooker. But that's what's gonna make a good fight. I see a great fight in the early rounds, just until Virgil figures him out. And I don't think this fight will go 8 rounds. I think Virgil will knock out Hooker before the eighth.
And what do you make about the division itself? Like 147, so many talents. Of course, you have the champs in Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. There's also Ugas, Danny Garcia. So many names. How can you break down that division, and who's the top dog at 147?
At 147 right now, it's Terrence Crawford. To me, Terrence Crawford has been an underrated champion, and he's the king of the division at 147. Not a lot of the top champions want to fight him. And no doubt, hands down, in my list, Terrence Crawford is the best welterweight of the division right now.
Is your dream 147 fight to see the Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, just like many of us are waiting to see?
In that division right now, that's the fight that everybody wants to see. That's why they're having so much issues making it happen. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence is a great fight in that welterweight division. I think Terrence Crawford will beat Spence. He won't knock him out. I don't see him knocking him out, but I see him winning the decision.
So many potential matchups, so many dream fights, so many potential things to see, and so little time, right? So, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Like, I know you're going to be traveling a lot, so safe travels. Best of luck tomorrow night. Thank you for taking the time.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys, and always being there for us, and we're always here. Thank you.